Thank you, everyone, for coming. My name is Oliver Sellers Garcia. I'm the Director of the Office of Sustainability and Environment in the City of Somerville. We're going to have about 30 minutes of remarks to kick off this wonderful evening. We have a great group of speakers. And then after the speakers, I'll explain a little bit more about what we're going to do for the rest of the evening. So I'm just going to pass it right off to our first speaker, CEO of Greentown Labs, Emily Reichert, and our host tonight.
All right, everyone, welcome to Greentown Labs. We are so excited to have you here tonight, and we are especially excited to be hosting the kickoff of the Mayor's Somerville Climate Action Plan. Sorry, ClimateForward Plan. I got it the second time, didn't I? So let's have a round of applause for that. Before we get too far into our program, I just want to give a shout out and special recognition to a couple folks who are with us tonight. We have State Senator Denise Provost. Oh, excuse me, another typo there. We have State Senator Patricia Jalen. He's here somewhere. And we have State Representative Denise Provost. Katja Ballantyne, who's the president of the Board of Aldermen and a Ward 7 alderman as well. Welcome. Alderman at large, Stephanie Hirsch, had to leave earlier this evening, I believe, but let's give her a round of applause anyway, because she's awesome. And Alderman at large, Mary Jo Rossetti. There she is, right in the front row. Welcome. And last but not least, a very special VIP we have with us this evening, Nancy Curtatone, wife of Joe Curtatone, and she's going to be sharing a few words with us this evening. For those who may not have heard it on the news, our beloved mayor has a case of the shingles, which are quite bad, and he is actually not with us tonight, even though it is the mayor's Climate Forward plan. So please just all of us be sending him some good wishes for quick healing, and we know he's with us in spirit. So we are all here tonight because we recognize the urgency of acting on climate change. Yes, you can give a round of applause for that. So I don't know about you, but when I read the IPCC report or see that national climate assessment come out about the economic damage and many other kinds of damage that are already happening in our country, in our state, and locally, I think we need to be doing something about it. And I'd like to recognize, even though he isn't here tonight, that Mayor Curtatone, his vision and his forward thinking on climate, even when I was able to meet him 5 years ago when he helped bring Greentown Labs to Somerville. He told me we should be carbon neutral here in Somerville by 2050, and he is working towards that goal, and this plan is part of that movement forward. So I just want to recognize the mayor's leadership on climate and environmental issues and just thank him for all his hard work, thank his team. As many of you may know, the mayor did help Greentown Labs come from Boston to Somerville. That was about 5 years ago now. We were 25 companies then, and we were all working on clean tech innovations, many of which have now gone forward and become products out in the real world where they can make a difference. And that's what we really do here at Greentown Labs. We support companies with the community resources and space that they need to develop innovations that are going to change the world today or tomorrow, and really, most importantly, address our global climate challenge. So tonight, you'll actually have the opportunity to meet a few of them. We have some member companies here with us who are showcasing in the gallery. Can I get a shout out for Sunwealth? Sunwealth in the back there. Do you want to learn more? Ivis. Spark Charge, where are you guys? They're back there. And Infinite Cooling. All these companies would be happy to tell you about how they are working on innovations that are going to help us address our climate challenge. So thank you all this evening for coming out. We've got some good remarks from speakers to come, so sit tight. But most of all, I'm proud to be working with the community of Somerville, with all of you, to really address and take seriously and do something about this climate crisis that faces us. And so that's what we're here to do tonight. Thank the mayor, Nancy Curtatone. Wonderful to have you speaking on his behalf. Have a good evening, everyone. And next speaker to come, you're going to come up and introduce him, Oliver.
Our next speaker is Nancy Curtatone on behalf of Mayor Joe Curtatone.
Thank you. Joe is disappointed that he could not be here tonight and is doing well. I'm here tonight to represent him, my family, and all the families of Somerville. As a mother, it is important to me that our generation and our community rises to the challenges of climate change, to do everything we can to leave the planet a better place for our children and future generations. What I love about the Somerville Climate Forward plan is that it makes clear that we can each do our part. I try to do my part at home in the choices we make, and I look forward to learning more through this initiative, and I am sure you do too. I will now read my husband and your mayor's message to you. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to be present, if not in person, then at least in my words. I would like to first thank Greentown Labs for hosting us. I would also like to thank all of the elected officials who have contributed to this effort and championed action on climate change, including the Somerville Board of Aldermen and School Committee, as well as our state and federal delegations. We are fortunate to have representatives at every level that understand the urgency and seriousness of the challenge we face. I would also like to thank the members of the Commission on Energy Use and Climate Change, who have volunteered so much of their time. The Somerville Climate Forward Working Group members, who put in so many hours on this plan, city staff, who have also spent so many hours, as well as our consultant team, local advocates, concerned members of the community, and everyone here tonight. Tonight is the culmination of several years of hard work. When I set out the goal to be carbon neutral by 2050, we were the first city in the Commonwealth to set a community-wide goal. We were in uncharted territory with no clear path to success. But our community leaders knew, and I knew, we had to set that wildly ambitious goal and achieve it if we were going to make a real impact on climate change. We knew if we did not set a target, we would never find our way there. But I did not say that it would be easy or that we knew how to do it. That starts changing tonight. Tonight, we are here to release Somerville Climate Forward. We now have our plan for tackling climate change. We have done this climate action plan the Somerville way, with participation from over 75 dedicated community members, lots of data, and a bold vision. This plan is about taking action now, doing things that make an impact now. Every day, we see more science telling us we need to act now on climate change. Somerville Climate Forward is the climate action plan for us and our era. Here are a few things that impress me about this plan. It is surprising. When we look at it closely, we realize that the waste we generate does not have a very large impact on climate change. But the goods and the services we consume in Somerville produce a lot of greenhouse gas around the world. So even though it is not a common practice, we are committing to measuring our consumption-based carbon footprint in addition to our traditional greenhouse gas inventory. And It is realistic about the challenges. We are not fooling ourselves about coastal flooding. Walling off the Mystic River is not a solution. This is a regional issue. So we are working with the whole Mystic River watershed to find solutions. We also build on our success. We look at the data. We need to get fossil fuels out of heating and cooling our buildings. Last year's Heat Smart, Cool Smart program was a nationally recognized success. We're going to build on that and expand the program. In addition to officially launching this smart and critical plan, tonight is also about celebrating our hard work and recognizing the leadership in our community. Climate change is a daunting and complex issue, and knowing it is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, challenge of our time can feel overwhelming. But I am inspired daily by the determination and creative problem solving that seems to bubble up in the ground of this amazing city. So once again, thank you to everyone who had a hand in shaping this plan, and thank you to everyone who will help carry it out. Please enjoy yourselves this evening, and thank you for coming. Sincerely, Mayor Joe Curtatone. Thank you. And on behalf of myself, thank you for listening. Joe is the professional public speaker, and I thank you for graciously allowing me to represent him tonight.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Our next speaker is the President of the Board of Aldermen and Ward 7 Alderman, Tatiana Ballantyne. And I'd also like to recognize that Alderman at Large Bill White is with us tonight too. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to Greentown Labs for hosting us, and to the City of Somerville staff for your work in helping guide our community. On behalf of the Board of Aldermen, I thank you all for spending time, especially the Somerville ClimateForward Working Group, and your effort to make Somerville a better community. Please also extend my thanks to your families for supporting your volunteer work. They too are an important piece of the success of your committee work and making Somerville better. I want you to know that I am with you from the beginning and to the end. Unlike a certain prominent politician, I do actually believe in climate change. I do actually believe in science. I have worked to limit climate change by my words as an elected official and by my actions. I don't own a car by choice for the last 10 years and more. And even as a family of 4, we don't own a car. I've had my driver's license for 40 years. 30 of those have been car-free. The only time I had to own a car was when there was no public transit to my work, and biking 60 miles round trip daily was a bit too far for me. I ride public transit, I walk, ride my bike in Somerville. Somerville is great because this is possible. It should be easier to do these things. With this plan and your help, we will make it happen. I bought a house, changed our windows to energy efficient windows, and I super insulated the interior walls, outer walls, all ceilings, attics, roof 20 years ago, trying to have the least amount of carbon footprint. This was possible for me to do, and it should be possible for everyone. With this plan and your help, we will make it happen. Together, we all demand that new buildings in Somerville must be efficient, and our older buildings should be made more efficient also. With this plan and your help, we can make it happen. I have supported advocacy, state advocacy by Mothers Out Front, and support any work towards a municipal ordinance that eliminates gas leaks. With you, I proposed a chapter of sustainability for a new zoning code. It has been incorporated in the new zoning for Union Square. It should be implemented citywide. With this plan, your help, we can make this happen. I proposed a dark sky ordinance addressing location, color temperature, standards, prescriptive or performance standards, DPW oversight, and exemptions. I proposed a building energy use disclosure ordinance to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by requiring owners of larger buildings to disclose annual energy use. I proposed a total plastic ban. With you, I have worked on many initiatives to limit climate change and will continue to direct action so your plan, the Somerville ClimateForward plan, will lead our community and inspire other communities to make these changes happen. I am with you on addressing climate change. My personal choices are in sync with addressing climate change. In me, you have a partner who will make sure you are at the table. You are the brain trust, our in-house consultants who have the expertise and community energy that we need to address climate change. I look forward to amplifying your voice and working with you on this important issue facing our world. With this plan and your help, we will make this happen.
Thank you so much, Alderman Ballantyne. So I'm happy to introduce Juliette Rooney-Varga, Associate Professor of Environmental Science and the Director of the Climate Change Center at UMass Lowell. She's a Somerville resident and a member of the Somerville Commission on Energy Use and Climate Change.
Thanks, Oliver. So I was just saying to Katiana that it's all been said. I'm good. I can get up and say, you know, I guess what I really want to do right now is get up and say thank you and give you all a huge round of applause. I'm really excited about this plan. And I'm really grateful to be part of this community and to be here tonight to celebrate this with you and to be excited about the work ahead. As Oliver mentioned, I'm actually wearing a few different hats tonight. I guess the first one that I want to talk about is really that I'm a mom. I have 3 young kids who are in the Somerville Public Schools. They're not so young anymore, actually. And as a mother who is very concerned about my kids' futures, I'm also a member of Mothers Out Front. And so I want to give a hand to Mothers Out Front and the amazing work. It's an organization that was born in this area, like so many other leading progressive causes that are trying to make the world a better place. And I think without this strong advocacy community, we're not really going to achieve the things that are laid out in this ambitious plan, which is really, you know, an exciting plan. It's also an aspirational plan. As Oliver mentioned, I am also a member, maybe you didn't, I'm a volunteer here, a member of the Commission on Energy Use and Climate Change. This is a 7-person advisory group. It was formed by an ordinance in 2001. Our responsibility is to provide technical expertise, and really we bring very diverse technical expertise to the city, and we have been working hard in developing and advising the development of this plan. We were involved in the Green Communities designation and many other work, many other projects here in the city. Lastly, I'm a professor and director of the UMass Lowell Climate Change Initiative, and I'm really excited to be here tonight for that reason too, because we actually have a partnership now with Greentown Labs. And in that work, what I do is develop computer models and simulations and work on decision support and communication around climate change. And so if you want to create your own path to a zero carbon global future, you can come do it with me later on. I'm happy to show you some exciting and fun interactive ways to do that. I do want to also be real, you know, but once again, as a mother, the thing that really keeps me up at night is we face a stark choice right now. I think you all know about that stark choice a lot more than most people that I speak with, But, just to keep us grounded, if we don't have time for a lot of experimenting and trials and error. We have to work hard and we have to get this right. If we and thousands of other cities around the world don't do that, we know now that we're going to be facing some devastating consequences, from up to 8 feet of sea level rise here in the Northeast, which is now considered within the realm of scientific possibility by 2100. It's unthinkable. The political instability that would come with hundreds of millions of people who are climate refugees, food insecurity, lack of fresh water, the kinds of things that, damage to our built and natural systems, the kinds of things that are really almost impossible to contemplate. We don't want that future. And with this plan, we are saying that loud and clear. We don't want that future. We want a future that creates resilient and stable climate for us and our children, and that in the process builds our communities, makes our communities stronger, makes our democracy stronger. I want to point out that we know from that very upsetting recent IPCC report that actually there was quite a bit of good news in that report. So if we, in Somerville and thousands of other cities like us, do take strong action and do achieve the goal of limiting warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2100, we could have a lot of tremendous benefits. In fact, the IPCC report estimates that we would have accumulated global benefits of more than $20 trillion, while at the same time reducing economic inequity. Never mind, in the US here, preventing 300,000 premature deaths and $1.2 trillion a year just by 2030 in health benefits. We know that Massachusetts and Somerville with Greentown Labs is a leader in clean technology, and we have an opportunity to show that leadership and to benefit from it, to create jobs and an economic future from that leadership. I want to just take a moment to kind of maybe close our eyes and think about, what does climate neutral Somerville or carbon neutral Somerville in 2050 look like? What's it going to look like? We're going to have every single home and building at that very highly insulated level we were just talking about, right? We need energy efficient buildings. It's a form of resilience. It's a way to save energy. It's a way to save money. And it's a way to actually store energy too, right? It's energy storage. All of our existing housing stock and our new buildings are going to need to be built at that level. We're going to need to have all of us biking, walking, taking public transit, and anything else we need to do needs to be electrified for transport. If we're going to fly, we need to figure out a way to offset that. We're going to need to have solar panels on every sunny roof. And we're going to need to push the state, region, and yes, federal government to have as basically a completely green, renewable energy electrical grid. Lastly, and really honestly, maybe most importantly, we are going to need to take care of each other and hold each other tight. We are going to need to keep each other safe, because no matter what we do, we're talking about big change coming ahead. And we're also talking about some climate impacts that are baked into the system that we're going to have to deal with, especially things like sea level rise and some damage to our natural systems. If we don't do that, right, we have an opportunity to build our social fabric, to make it stronger, and we know that that will help us get through this transition, these changes, these impacts. Good news is, us villains like to party. We like those low-carbon block parties, porch fests, honk festivals, right? And that's actually something that I think of as climate change adaptation, right? That's actually building our strong social fabric that will get us through these changes together in a way that benefits all of us. Who doesn't like a good party, right? So we're here to lead. We need to be ready for that leadership. We have a plan, but it's just a plan, let's face it. So now it's time to turn the plan into action. And just like was just said, not by me, that real work, right? That's something that we need to do together. It's only possible with all of us working together. It's not going to be easy, but most things worth doing are not easy. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Juliet. We will now watch a short 3-minute video to introduce you to the plan.
Climate change is one of the most pressing challenges of our time. More rainfall and bigger storms are putting our city at risk for flooding. 2018 was one of the hottest summers on record, with nearly 20 days over 90 degrees. Extreme weather in every season is on the rise.
Here in Somerville, we're taking action to slow climate change and prepare for its impacts by introducing our first ever climate action plan. Somerville ClimateForward will help us reduce emissions in our city and get us ready to handle the heat, flooding, droughts, and intense storms related to climate change. The best way to find out how we'll do this is to read the plan at Somervillema.gov/ClimateForward.
The plan was created by community members like me, coming together with city leaders, world-renowned climate experts, dedicated city staff, and consultants. We used years of data collected by the city to help us understand our most pressing needs and prioritize our actions.
Somerville ClimateForward focuses our long-term goals into 13 action areas that we can start working on now to become a resilient and carbon-neutral city. And some of these steps are already underway.
Somerville is already working to reduce the number of gas-powered vehicles on the road. The city has started switching its trucks and cars, including police cars, to electric or hybrid, and it's easier now for residents to do the same. The city has installed electric vehicle charging stations all around Somerville, with more to come. More and more of the city's commuters are choosing to go car-free. Today, about half walk to work, ride bikes, or take public transportation. The city fought for the Green Line extension in part to increase access to public transportation and further reduce carbon emissions. In Union Square, the city is working to reduce the potential for destructive flooding. Construction is already underway on an important project to improve the drainage in the neighborhood. And thanks to the Mystic River Watershed Association, Somerville has joined with other cities to develop a plan to prepare for coastal flooding.
But there's so much more we need to do together to truly make a difference when it comes to climate change.
Somerville ClimateForward spells out 13 specific action steps for us to make those important changes together.
Here are just a few of them.
Action number 1 proposes that new building construction be resilient to flooding and extreme heat, and commits us to exploring net zero energy and emission standards for new buildings. But most of Somerville is already built. Action number 2 calls for retrofitting existing buildings to improve energy efficiency and switch to renewable electric systems for heat and cooling, which we'll need more of. Jumping forward, action number 6 aims to keep Somerville cool, indoors and outdoors, in hot weather by planting more trees around the city and maintaining our urban forest.
And that's just a small sample of the plan. I hope you check out the plan at Somervillema.gov/ClimateForward to see how much more we can each do on our own.
And I hope you'll look at the plan to see what we can accomplish by acting together and making equity a central focus. Climate change already threatens the most vulnerable among us more than others. So we will take action on climate change by making sure no one is left behind.
Climate change is a complex problem that will take big, bold solutions and cooperation among residents, businesses, and government to make a difference.
In other words, it will take all of us, including you. That's what we do in Somerville. We work together to make our city a great place to live, work, play, and raise a family. And we can be carbon neutral by 2050 if we start now. So let's work together.
And start Somerville ClimateForward today.
Today.
And start Somerville ClimateForward today.
Don't forget that link to download the plan. Our final speaker is Natalie Beauvais, the project manager from Kleinfelder, who led the technical consulting team for this project.
So good evening. It's great to see as many people coming for the launch of this event. And Kleinfelder was the prime consultant for the development of the plan. And we work with the city and our municipal and regional partners in the Boston metropolitan area to develop a plan specific to Somerville, but that is also benefiting from and will contribute to the regional preparedness planning effort. It's all the individuals, City of Somerville, and all its partners regionally. And water doesn't know boundaries, and air neither. So part of our team, we have AECOM, who joined us to be a member for providing greenhouse gas mitigation expertise in their context of their work nationally and their international contribution to the C40 sustainable cities. We also have the John Snow Institute, who provided public health expertise and helped our team develop an integrated and equitable approach to address climate change. This plan is about sea level rise, extreme precipitation, and extreme heat. It's a scary story. And when people ask me what I do for a living, I say I predict the end of the world. And I was glad to hear a lot of teenagers, because young generation are afraid. This is not something that people want to hear about all the time. The plan, however, is addressing in one set of action the mitigation and preparedness. In one plan, we're addressing the cause and the effect, and that is unique, and that is a very motivating and smart approach. It is based on rigorous research, evaluation, and prioritization of what is ambitious and yet achievable. I've been asked what sets Somerville apart, and you heard this tonight. It has been very humbling to come to meeting in a snowstorm and people bike to the work, to the meeting, and I felt very guilty about my own mode of transportation. I switch. Not all the time, but most. Also, I heard about people spending money on insulation of their house instead of flying to some exotic destination. And again, these are smart but personal choice, but they make a change. I think this is inspiring, and at the same time, this is scary. We'll need the small change, but we'll need the big change, and we'll need them fast. And we need a success story. We're working on a lot of municipalities. And I must say that for the last year, you know, with our team here at Kleinfelder and with people from the John Snow Institute and AECOM, we all have been inspired. And we think if one city can make it real and make it happen fast as a success story, this is Somerville. So we're looking forward for all the next steps.
Thank you so much to all our speakers tonight. There's one person who also needs a lot of thanks. I'd really like to recognize Hannah Payne, the sustainability coordinator who managed this project, and she is responsible for tonight and this wonderful plan. So big round of applause to Hannah. We also really want to thank our consultant team from Kleinfelder, AECOM, and JSI. They really brought a lot of wonderful global experience to little old Somerville. And I want to thank everyone who was on the working groups. You guys put in so much work, and this plan is really yours, so thank you. I'm just going to wrap things up by going over what we're going to do for the rest of this evening. As you can tell, this is a different format than what we typically do at public meetings. Tonight is about taking action and learning about what you're most interested in this plan. We have 5 different tables organized by the main themes of the plan. And each of these tables is going to have city staff and working group members. And at these tables, you can have conversations about what's in the plan if you're curious, or just talk about the topics in general. I'm going to point to where they're going to be. So buildings, mobility, environment, raise your hand, and then back there toward the front we'll have the community group and the leadership table. We also are going to have several different stations where you can start taking action today. So you can sign up for 100% renewable power through the city's Community Choice Electricity Program, and we have folks from Green Energy Consumers Alliance and Good Energy, I see them waving their hands in the back, and some community volunteers to help you sign up for that. You can also sign up for a home energy audit or learn more about energy efficiency for renters and homeowners with Mass Save in the back corner. You can take a pledge on how you're going to take action on climate change, and this is why you're all here. Take your photo on the green carpet. There really is a green carpet here, back there by the tree. And as Juliet mentioned, she'll be running a dynamic simulation about how different policy changes can affect global emissions, and you can see if you can find the right combination of policy changes to keep global warming in check. This is actually kind of fun to do. And we have folks from Blue Bikes and the Somerville Bike Committee in the corner to help you sign up for a membership and to talk about biking in Somerville. And as Emily mentioned, there's also a handful of Greentown companies, Sunwealth, clean energy investment firm focused on social impact, Ivis Energy Solutions, providing energy for hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles, Spark Charge, portable fast charging electric vehicle charging, and Infinite Cooling that helps power plants provide reliable electricity with less water. Some thought-provoking companies to talk to. So for tonight, feel free to spend the rest of the time walking around, going to different tables, spend more time at one table. There's a lot of room here to have conversations with each other. There's some food left, I hope. We'll be wrapping up at 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. And Juliet will say one more thing.
The only thing I want to say is that I really want to give a huge round of applause to this guy right here. He has done amazing things for this city, and we all owe you a huge thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Juliet. All right, let's go to it.